Hey everybody, what's up? It's your boy here, ready to do some ring engraving. It's going to be a good stream today. Well, it's going to be a decent stream today. If you joined me last week, we actually got together very similarly to how we're doing it now, where I'm recording a bunch of B-roll for the actual episode on this topic. So, we're not getting crazy in depth today, though I will be taking questions. But mostly what we're here to do is get B-roll. we got to get that footage. And I'm happy to talk through the process with you guys as we're going through it. But I will be publishing a full episode on this, which will be the go-to for, actually learning how to do this. So while you may take something away from today's live stream, just know that a legitimate, thought-out educational experience on this topic is just a couple days down the pipe. When that's available, I will come back to this live stream and throw a card up and a link in the description so that you guys can find it easily. Though everybody that's here right now seems to be regulars. We've got Ruben, Emra is here, what's up? Matt J. Mac, my wife, of course. Sean Barry, what's going on? Welcome, Wendy, good to see ya. Boba the Fets. We got Jimmy's here, Jimmy, and High Beam Laser Engraving, what's going on? And James Brewer is here hanging out along with Mark Cooper, kicking it today. And we've got Lee in chat. What's up, Lee? So great to see everybody here today. Really, it is great to have you. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I've got just a couple rings here. Now, this isn't going to be the longest live stream in the world, and the reason why is because a lot of these rings are just so thin that I can't really use them for the demo. So it looks really good in the thumbnail, but we got to take a lot of these rings out of the equation. And once we do, we've got maybe 5 left that are really workable for the episode here. There's a black one up here that's a little hard to see, but it is there. So we've got about 5 that are really actually workable for this. I probably should have ordered 2 bags off Amazon. We're not doing any special metals today, okay? Anything that you learn in the video that we're recording today is going to be like tactical information about the process of engraving a ring rather than how to deal with specific ring metals. Most of these materials that we have rings made out of, right, are things that we already have guides on the channel, especially gold, steel, silver. We have episodes on how to work with those metals. So if you're going to be doing rings out of those metals, I highly recommend watching those videos first so that you can get an idea of how to work with those metals, and then come back to the episode we're working on today, the one that will be published once this is complete, and watch this for reference on how to actually deal with the rings. So that's about it. I am pretty rusty with this, so we're probably going to struggle our way through this a little bit today. Not immensely, but there's going to be some hiccups. Again, this is not the go-to guide. This is the making of the go-to guide. So I will certainly keep you guys up to date on the process of actually completing the guide. Enough about that, though. Let's get started. So one of the first things that I am going to need to capture today is the alignment. We need to actually align this rotary, and we need to bolt it down. Right now it's just kind of sitting here. If we don't bolt this down to the bed, putting a ring into this rotary tool is going to move it, and then we're not going to be straight anymore. Aligning is very easy. So that's good. We're not really going to struggle with that. That's pretty straightforward. In order to do that, though, we need to bolt this down. We need to stop moving. It doesn't need to be directly underneath our f-theta lens, but it should be as central as possible, along both axes, right? So we really want our chuck to end up just right underneath that galvo head, because that's going to reduce any kind of distortion we get. Even when we do good lens corrections. We're still going to suffer distortions. If we have our rotary tool way out to the side over here or way up in the corner, it's just not going to look as good as it would, and it's going to be a little more difficult to target and frame than it would be if we were underneath the galvo head, which is literally right under my hand here. I don't know if I can zoom out here and get you guys to be able to see it, give you a little more viewing space there. So there it is. And we're just about directly underneath it, and that's where you want to be. There's also two different positions that this is going to sit in. Right now, it's perfectly flat. We've got a nice perpendicular angle here with the galvo head, but that is only good for outsides of rings, and you guys are going to see that as we move forward. So that's great when we need to turn the ring just directly underneath it. We're just marking the outside, no problem. But when we want to mark the inside of the ring, we're actually going to hike this up to like a 20 to 40 degree angle. So it's actually going to be sitting up a little bit so that we can actually shoot down past the outside of the ring to mark the inside of the ring. Again, we'll get to that in a little bit. I've got it nice and perpendicular right now, so I don't really want to mess with it to demonstrate that at the moment. But alignment, I'm kind of wandering off here. In order to align, you need something straight and you need something stiff. Preferably dark so that you can see the red light fairly well off of it. So what I like to use is a hex key. I'm a big fan of using hex keys for alignment for a couple of reasons. One, if you're lucky enough, they're dark. If you get a black set, the silver set doesn't work quite as well because it reflects so much of the red laser, but the black set really makes it nice and visible. It's stiff because it's metal. I'm using a big chunky one. This is like an 8mm or something like that. It's a honker, so it's not going to bend. It's not going to wobble. And then we also have the fact that it's got these flat edges. So if we get this into the chuck the right way, we'll actually be able to see the laser running along the center of one of these channels, right? One of the sides of the hexagon, and that would be ideal. So we have that. But I actually need my hex kit from my toolbox here because we need to, let me see, where are my metric ones? So what we actually need to do here is we need to bolt this down to the bed so that it doesn't move anywhere. These are Imperial. That's not what I want. I want my metric ones. Where did they go? Give me 1 second to just find my hex wrenches. They couldn't have gone far because the black set is the metric set, and that's the... You know what? I'll just get the good ones. Where are the good ones? They're in a drawer. Yep. All right. Here we go. This is my good set. Those are the nice ones right there. So, what do we need to do? Well, we've got, unfortunately, so we're doing this on the EM Smart today because I don't have the Mactron. I'm going to move my mic here too. Sorry for the noise if it rumbles. We don't have the Mactron rotary tool here. That's at the shop right now. We're at the home office. So we're forced to use the EM Smart because that's the only rotary tool I have at the moment. And the EM Smart comes with these crappy plastic machine screws. I have not replaced these with metal ones yet, though that's a priority for me. So we're stuck with the plastic ones today. We'll make it work. It's not the best, but I don't hate it. We need to find the right size hex wrench. So I'm going to try to find that. I think maybe the 2.5mm will do. We'll give it a try. You cannot, that's too small. You cannot Z-mark silver. At least not that I've found. There we go. All right, 3mm. Perfect. And then we need to, this sucks too. This is another thing that sucks about this EM Smart rotary design here. These little channels are deep inside the like chassis of the, oh, okay. We got the first one to lock in, and then we're just gonna have to tighten it like this, which sucks, but you know, here we are. So just over and over. Just hope that we can get it to catch. Certainly not ideal, but we've got it in there, so progress, I suppose. Very annoying. Almost every other rotary tool that I've ever worked with has some kind of like external mounting location out from underneath the chuck and stepper motor. So this is just very inconvenient, so bear with me. Again, this is the, you know, the making of the episode, right? So obviously we'll cut this way down in the final cut, but just get this tight here. Let's see, do we have any? Oh, the Allen keys, yeah, that would be nice. Oh, Charlie's Rotary's arriving on Saturday. Congrats, that's exciting. Come on. Sorry, this is so hard to do. I can't see a thing. It is tightening. You don't even really need to do both. In fact, both can be detrimental, because then if you have to adjust up and down to straighten the line out once we light the line up, that could be a big problem. Also, I'm just noticing another issue. So we're going to just ruin this. I'm going to move that up, because there's got to be... That's not going to work for me. So maybe here we can... I guess this is slightly easier. We are going to have to knock it back a step, because when this is straight down, our ring point is past the center point on the lens. It's actually out towards the outer edge, closer to the camera there, and that's gonna make what we're trying to do a lot more hard. So we're just gonna undo this, and we're gonna step it back a couple steps. Something that we get a lot too is, you know, does the laser line have to be right in the center? And the answer is no. It can be up, it can be down a little bit. We just want it close. The closer it is, the easier it will be. But a lot of these breadboard grids with these screws won't actually allow you to mount the rotary dead center, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I think this will work better right here. There's nothing wrong with that configuration. It just takes a little extra time. So let's see if we can, again, we're just hunting here. Yep, boom, got it. And we'll try to get it to catch, and it should be a little... But we'll see. Alright, that's about finger tight there. Let's see if this one even lines up. Yep, looks like it does. Okay. Go ahead, and I actually need a decent shot of this, so I'm going to switch to manual focus. 99% of things that I film for the channel involve me having my hand in the way of the thing that I'm trying to show people, which is super annoying. Okay, so those are both finger tight, and you can see all the play in the world right there. These screws actually don't have big enough heads to hold this down, which is stupid. The rotary tool was clearly designed for a bed with larger machine screws, and they just couldn't be bothered to change the rotary base plate out for one that actually matched. So I'm going to tighten this down just a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's not going to matter, because the screw heads are always going to be too big, and this is always going to move. So essentially, whenever we take anything in or out of our rotary chuck here, what we're going to have to do is just press up against the back. We're going to push up against it, and that's going to keep this from moving when we're tightening and loosening this, so that we make sure that the position doesn't change. But before we do that, we actually have to light our little alignment tool up here and get things nice and straight. So in order to do that, we need to go into software. I am not sure which driver I have. Not sure which driver I have installed right now, so let me just check on that, because that's going to determine which software we use. It looks like we have the Lightburn driver installed right now. So we're going to start in Lightburn, but the process is identical in EasyCAD. It's literally 0% different. So don't worry about that. So we'll go ahead and pull this up here, and we'll open Lightburn. Let me switch you guys over to Lightburn view to kind of reorganize my windows here as well. Okay, so here we are in Lightburn. Again, the process is the same. It's no different for EasyCAD. So all we need to do here is grab our line tool, and we're going to create a line that goes straight across. If you hold shift, it'll force it onto that axis. So we'll just go ahead and click that off, and P to center that up on the page. We'll turn on the output, and we're going to frame this line. And once this is framing, we'll then have like a target that we can use to get things aligned. So if we take a look back over here at the main camera, you can see we've got our line. You can also see that our rotary tool is off. It's, you know, could we knock it up to, let's see, what's the difference between this one and this one? That would actually put it fairly center. So right now we're on these two. If we knocked it up a notch, it would be far closer to center. I may just leave it here to show you guys it doesn't matter, but I kind of want it center too, which would of course involve me undoing everything that I just did and doing it again. It's a live stream, why not? Let's just do it right. Let's do it right the first time. I wish that it went a little bit faster. I wish this wasn't quite so difficult, but I feel like I'm getting better at turning the little hex key in this tight area as we go, so hopefully this will be the fastest one yet. Yeah, I need some fancier hex wrenches. I know that they make them that get into these tight spots significantly easier than I'm experiencing at the moment. It's just not been, unfortunately, a large enough priority for me to ever stop what I'm doing and do that. So maybe after this experience I'll have learned my lesson and it'll end up a little higher on my to-do list. Alright, I think I'm just about there. Oh, that one's up. What about you? Up. Perfect. Okay, so again, our line is here. You guys can actually see that pretty well on the camera. So we're just going to shift this up. This might actually be a good thing to do before you bolt this down, because I guess, you know, if you're like me, you may not know where that line's going to show up. So we'll go ahead and pop these back into place. Second one's certainly harder. Come on. There we go. All right, for the last, you know what? You know what? I'm just going to mark this line. There we go. No regrets. Now I won't forget next time. I'll just mark the bed. I don't even care. The video is pretty focused. We're in manual focus mode right now, so it should be fairly tight on the focus right there. I'll record a clip of this too, even though we've done this multiple times in front of the camera already. I am using OBS to record clips of this that I can use as reference visuals in the final episode. It's kind of the point of today's episode if you're just joining us. Yeah, no regrets. Alright, so those again are about finger tight there. And this is where our bigger hex key is going to come in. So if we pop this down, oh wow, that's nice. So you actually can't, I mean it's nice, but it's stupid. So this locks at 45 degrees. You can't go further down than that. I don't know how I feel about that actually. Because what if I need to angle it down a little bit to do like a, you know what, doesn't matter. It's another problem for another day. It's not going to affect us right now. So just go ahead and we're now going to tighten the rotary up on our hex wrench. And you'll see what I'm saying. If we turn this, we'll actually get, and this light is very bright right now. Can I just turn this off? Just turn this off so that's a little easier for you guys to see the red laser here. So the flat edge is up. I've actually rotated this. I've forced it to rotate so the flat edge is up. And you can see the red laser line is actually a little bit below it. It's a little bit off. So what we want to do is we want to bring that so that it's nice and center. The other thing we need to do is focus. I'm essentially focused to the bed right now, which means our focus is going to have to come way up. So let's go ahead and just knock that out real quick. We'll get this head raised up as high as we can get it. That may fix some of our positioning issues as well. I don't actually know the focal distance of this lens, and I don't have a focal stick cut out yet either, so this will be interesting. But workable. Alright, that's pretty high. So from here what we want to do is we're just going to use our keyboard and we're going to knock that line up. We're going to start knocking the line up until it's right on top of our hex key here. And once that's done, our job is to make it straight. So we'll move. We can move up and down and we can move left and right. So we do get a little bit of play here. We want to make sure that it's straight when it's pressed up against a side. Just because, again, and I mentioned this earlier, these screws don't tighten the rotary down the way that it needs to be because they're not big enough. So while we can take advantage of the play, our final resting place should be with this knocked front or back so that we know when we get it where we want it, it's, you know, we can just press up against that side and that's where it's going to stay. And this is looking pretty good right here. It's fairly straight, but it's not quite sharp. So I'm going to continue to raise our focus here. I can't even honestly tell if it's getting better or worse. There we go, we're actually getting a little bit sharper now. On this, not on every unit, but on this unit, when the red dot is sharper, the laser tends to be sharper. But at the end of the day, what we're probably going to have to do is just mark to make sure. That's adding quite a bit of complexity to this. Not knowing our focal distance or having a focal stick is making this a lot more difficult than it needs to be. But it is nice and straight here now, so that's good. Is it better with the lights on? I guess it's pretty good with the lights on. Let's try to get a close-up shot of this as well. That's a nice close-up shot right there. We'll be able to use that in the final cut. We may end up doing some diode cutting today. Just because I don't know if I can survive without a focal stick. I think we might need one for this project. So we may have to take a quick break from ring stuff just to make a focal stick for this laser. I know that I have hardwood on hand that I can cut with the diode, so we might have to do that. Anyway, with this in place, I'm going to try to get these as tight as possible without moving it, which again will be easier for you. It's going to be very hard for me because these screws are not large enough to hold this stupid thing in place. And I see you guys in chat. I will catch up on chat in just a minute. Very active chat today. Plastic screws are ridiculous. Alright, that one's fairly tight. Let's see if we can get this one to match. Oh, I'm already stripping these plastic screws. Figures. Okay, well, no matter. It's tight, so that's good. So yeah, I think the way that we need to proceed here is I think we need to take a beat, find our focal distance, and well, I guess we're just gonna have to cut a focal stick real quick, because I didn't think about this before I started the live stream, but I don't think we can do rings without a focal stick. Our focus dots come straight down and they're in the middle. Our ring's going to be over here. There's going to be no way to tell if we're in focus unless we decide to ruin a ring testing the focal point for every ring that we do. And I don't want to do that. So I'd rather just make a focal stick. So we can loosen this up now and we can remove our little hex key there, and we're done with that. So we know this is straight. We can just leave it there out of the way for now. We'll get a metal business card down here on the bed, and we will just do a focal distance test real quick. I mean, whatever, here we are. So there's the bed right there, and we'll just get that focused up. And I see you guys in chat. I will get right back to you. The last thing, though, really important that we want to do over here, again, doesn't matter if you're in Lightburn or EasyCAD for this, same exact thing for both, but what we want to do is we want to remember where this line is. We do not want to lose this line, because normally we'd be centering up to the center line right here. But in this case, with our rotary, since our rotary runs along this location on the y-axis, we need to make sure that whatever graphics or text or whatever it is that we're marking on a ring is also centered along this part of the y-axis. It's very important. This cross right here is our new center, not this. So we're going to save this file, which can come up here, File, Save As. We'll just save it to the desktop for now. That's fine. And we're going to call this, you know, I don't know, EM Smart Ring Center Template. Okay, and we'll save that. So we can reopen that an infinite number of times, and we'll always have our center line ready to go. So once we put our rotary into position, we've got it in software, and we can align our graphics to this. And we'll get to that when we start working on actually marking these rings, which shouldn't be too far off. So for now, we're going to close Lightburn, and what are we going to do next? We're actually going to open Lightburn. We need to make a focal stick. We're going to open Illustrator too. If you haven't seen my latest TikTok, go follow me on TikTok. It's the Laser Everything official, which is pretty great. But we don't need those today. Let's check out a new document here. We will switch to inches and do our standard 5x3 template. And we're going to make a little focal stick. It doesn't have to be crazy. We actually have focal stick templates already. So if we go into Drive, Laser Everything, LMA files, I've got, where is it? Let's see. Project files, focal sticks. There it is, right there. So can I open this without unzipping it? Yes. All right. So here's the focal stick template. So we'll just borrow one of these and edit it to suit our needs, which is no problem And I can actually stop recording in OBS because we're not using any of this for the episode. I like the 150s. Proportions are good for most things. So this will be the one that we're going to edit. And so now we just need to know how long we need to make this stick. That's basically all there is to it. So back to Lightburn, I guess. We're just going to create a box. If you guys have set up your lasers using the Laser Everything guide, you know what we're doing here. We're going to do 1000 speed, 80 power, 37 frequency, and we're going to center it. Hopefully, I'm still in box mode. All right, we'll center that up. We'll frame it, and it is showing up there, so that's good. We need a metal business card. I've got some junkers, and I need my safety glasses. So here we are. There is our work bed and our crappy throwaway metal business card. And we're just gonna hit start. We're gonna run this continuously until we find our perfect focal point, and then we'll have to find a way to measure it, because I don't even think I have a way to measure this accurately at home. So we're just lowering the focus slowly here. Any second now, we should see it start marking. You see a little smoke. Oh, there we go. And it's fading again, so now we need to go back up. And that's actually not doing super well. So we're gonna have to turn up the heat a little bit. What did I not set right here? Let's close that. Let's stop the laser for a moment. Let's see, we got fill. Oh, our interval. Interval's kind of rough. We want 0.025. And can probably lower the speed a little bit. Keep forgetting this isn't a 30 watt. Alright, let's try that again. Still very weak. Ah, okay. Sorry guys, just bear with me for 1 second here. We must still be just extremely out of focus. There we go. So we're looking again for the brightest, hottest point. I've made so much content about this. You guys are certainly used to hearing me talk about it at this point. So we're just looking for the sweet spot. Which is going to be right about here. So that looks great. So now we need to measure this distance. So I know nobody signed up for focus finding activity today, but again, it's kind of a necessary step for us at the moment. So how are we going to do this? I don't have my normal clear acrylic ruler on me that I usually use. So we're going to have to think. We're going to have to be smart. Let's see. Are you tall enough? Let me zoom out so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing here. So what I want is a piece of material that we can effectively use to measure this, and that piece of acrylic looks like a strong contender. So I'm actually going to snap the dead weight off of this. This isn't the most scientific thing in the world, but my plan is essentially to mark this acrylic in the location where it crosses paths with the bottom of the lens, and then we'll find a better way to measure that once we get to it. But I'm just kind of holding it up here. We want it to be as straight as possible, and this is all warped out, so that's not going to be easy, but we're going to do it. I need a pen or a marker. What are you? You a permanent marker? Yes, you are. Okay, that's good. So let's see. So I'm just going to get as level with it as possible. We only really get one shot at this. Nice. So there you can see I've just made a mark with the black Sharpie at the height where, when I'm looking dead on at this the bottom of this lens here, that's where they cross paths. And actually, even that is not quite accurate. We really want it more. Sorry, this marker sucks. Come on. Yeah, that looks good. So it's at the top of this dark section there on the bottom. Again, not scientific, but good enough for today. So now we need to measure this. I have my caliper. I have the handy dandy caliper here. Can we get away with doing this in one shot? I don't think so. Maybe. Not really. It was a good try, though. So we're going to have to measure a section, then mark the section we measured, then measure another section. Which is, again, less than ideal. Not very scientific, but we don't have a ton of time for this today. We're supposed to be marking rings, so I don't want to spend all day on it. We just need something that's going to be close. Is that accurate? Yes, it is. Okay, so this first section is, let's write this down so we don't forget. Calculator 154.7, and then we need to measure our second section, which is going to be significantly smaller. That's going to be from the top of this black area. If you guys can see this, you can a little bit, to the center of this, 33.3. It's actually going to give us a nice even number. So plus 33.3. So our focal stick is going to be 188 millimeters long. Totally doable. We're making our way through it. Alright, we're done with you. Goodbye. Let's take a minute here before we continue and catch up on chat. I'm going to pull up the desktop and just type in this height value before I forget it. So, length, we want 188 millimeters. Oh, that's position. I'm an idiot. 188 millimeters. There we go. It's a little fat, so we can tone that back a little bit. But otherwise, there it is. The kerf on the diode is going to take away about 1 millimeter of material from this. And it's going to actually end up a little bit shorter than it appears on screen. So I think what we actually want is 189 millimeters, just to give it a little bit extra, so that when we do lose some wood to the kerf, we'll be good to go on that. All right, so let's take a look at the million things that I've missed in chat, because we've been very busy today. James says happy Friday. Happy Friday, James. Dave has entered the chat. What's going on, man? Simon's here from the UK. What's up, Simon? Samir, how's it going? Charlie Clapham is here. Yep, your Rotary's arriving Saturday. I actually remember reading that one. All right, so I scrolled back a little bit far. No regrets, that's funny. Put blocks under the rotary to angle it downward? Yeah, if I have to. Yep, it's the EM Smart, good call. Levi says, I just found the channel, and this is one of the most informative channels I have found yet for laser stuff. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Welcome. Welcome on board. Great to have you. A telescoping anything makes a handy focus stick when you break one. Nice. Please don't forget to smash the like button, though you guys don't seem to be having a problem with that today. I'll see you later, Dave. Rip. He came and he went before I even got to his comments. Very sad. iBeam's EasyCAD program is stuck in error mode. I need to reinstall, but my flash drive just got lost. Download the community edition if it's EasyCAD 2. You can get it from lasereverything.net/downloads. What lens is the machine? It's a 110 lens, but it's a really weird little mini version of one. No, I can't. The caliper's not tall enough. I don't have a long enough caliper to just measure the height. And I'm caught up on chat. Okay, great. So, we're switching modes here, people. We're going to the diode. We'll actually use our little off-arrow. We just published a review on this. If you haven't seen it. First, I'm going to save our focal stick here. Again, to the desktop. We'll just call this EM Smart 110. And we'll bring this into Lightburn, so we'll hit OK. Close that. We can close this, and let's get back into Lightburn here. Let's delete this little square. We're done with you. We're going to import, and that's our center jig. Here is our focal stick file, so we'll open that. And I got mad for a second because this didn't fit in the workspace, but I realized we're not in the right thing. Actually, the AL1 isn't even going to be able to cut this. That's a bummer. Can we get away at like a diagonal? I think we can. Okay. Whew. So the Offero Laser 1 by Rotary is only 180 millimeters by 180 millimeter workspace. So we're really pushing it here on the diagonal, but we should be able to get away with it. So we're going to go for it. So with the 5-watt AL1 selected in Lightburn, we do need to hook that back up. It's actually not plugged in, so I'm going to go ahead and move the camera so you guys can actually see what we're doing. Oh, hi Beam, subscribing today to the Laser Master Academy. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. That means a lot to me. So let's move here, and there's the AL1, which is actually currently acting as my light stand. So we need to resolve that. I was not planning on doing this today. Oh, and there goes my light. There we go. Oh, okay. Try not to let go of the light. Okay. So, there we go. Sorry, I'm like dropping stuff. I'm a hot mess right now. We can move this rotary tool. We don't need that. This is the LF, or long focus laser module for the Rotary lasers, and we're going to need that because that's actually the one that you want for cutting. And then here's the little off-arrow one that's going to save the day today, for real. So let's get it plugged in. And then before we turn it on, we do need to swap out our module. We have our engraving module on the system right now, so we need to remove this. It takes a Phillips head screw for the ground. So let me grab my Phillips screwdriver. I never pick the right head for this, and every time that I come in here and touch things, I strip a little bit out. But that's my incompetence. Alright, get that out. That's it right there, just two little plugs. Are we in focus here? There we go. And we're going to loosen this up and pull that off. We need our little retainer screw here for the LF. So there's the LF module. And actually we need to take this off too, because we're going to utilize the air assist for this cut, so we get a nice small curve. But this has a grub screw that keeps it in. So we're going to need to find a little hex wrench for that. A big hex wrench day today. Lots of hex wrenching to do. Let's try to get this little grub out. Just enough so that we can take the cover off of this. There we go. Set that aside. And this is where our air assist kit will go. So we're going to put our air assist kit on there. And this little diode laser is saving our butts today, guys, because we were definitely not going to be able to continue with this at all without a focal stick. So 3 cheers for emergency diode. Just looking for the little air assist kit because I put all this stuff away because I was done recording the diode review and I didn't think I would need it again so soon after wrapping that up. Where did I put it? Well, diode safety glasses, we're going to need those. Here we go. My bag of air assist thingies. We're going to fly through this. If you want to see it in a little more detail, go check out the Alfaro 1 review. This is a neat little machine here. We need our little focus gauge. We've got our hosing so we can hook up the air assist. And we need 2 more pieces. We need our air assist nozzle. And in here somewhere is our little elbow joint. And the hex screw to put it all together. Okay, so nozzle goes on. Another little grub in here needs to be tightened, and this is not the right one. I believe it's this one. Let's turn autofocus back on for a minute so you guys can actually see what I'm doing here. Still too big. It's one of these. try this one. That's the money right there. Go ahead, screw that in. And then we need our little elbow joint. Stupid design with the little flathead, so now I need a flathead screwdriver. Again, I apologize, none of this was planned. We're kind of solving problems as they come up here. So we're going to want to make sure that our elbow is pointed backwards so that our air can exit the tube there, or enter, I suppose. And then we just need to tighten it down in position. So I kind of got to get a decent grip on it here. And we're just going to tighten that flathead up right there. Next, we've got our air hose, which we are going to press fit onto the little what's-he doodle there? Come on. Focus up, please. Excuse me. And then we'll slide the little ring over and tighten that up to retain it. And now, with that all together, we can attach this to the machine. So we'll just slide this on. And we're just going to kind of screw this on anywhere for the moment, just so that we don't have to hold it. We'll pop our power and data line on. And then we need to put our ground back in, and the ground takes a hex screw. Everything uses something different. That's on tight. And last but not least, we need to hook our air. We've just got a raw end here. We need to hook our air up to our little flow valve, which I already have running to the pump. So that's all done. There's the pump back there, ugly, literally duct taped together. Doesn't matter. It's going to do the job. We're here to cut a focal stick, not to get a lesson. So now we just need a suitable piece of wood which I'm sure I have around here somewhere. This is a piece of wood that we used to do a photo on for the diode episode. It's very thin and flimsy, but it will do for what we need it to do right now. So we'll probably start with that. It's going to be at an angle like this, because that's kind of how we have our, just kind of fix this view over here for you guys so you can see a little better. It's kind of going to be at an angle because that's how it is in our setup. Hopefully the focal stick fits on this. I can't fix it. No. It's just... No. Anyway, sorry, my wife had complaints about the stream that are, I will fix issues with the stream after we get this cut, because again, this is not the reason we're here today. We're just trying to solve an emergency problem at the moment. So this is our little focal gauge here. And actually, it's going to end up being a little higher because I do need to get this off the table. Like, if you can't tell, the diode has destroyed my table here. past, I've just used a couple of PlayStation games to keep diode targets off the ground, and that should do nicely for today. Alright, I have no idea how this is going to go, guys. We're really pushing things right now. I'm scrambling. Alright, shields down. So, that's the initial setup. Not good, but not horrible. So, what we need to do next is see if we can even get this to frame in. Trying to fix a couple potential audio issues here real quick. Okay, so we need to try to frame this up on our actual piece. So we're gonna have to do our contour frame. We can't use the box frame because the box frame isn't gonna tell us if we're actually on the piece or not. So we're gonna use our contour frame and just kind of hope that things work out the first time. I think I have some extra wood, but I'm not sure. Okay, we moved it a little bit. Let's try again. Whoop. One more time. Come on, stay on, stay on. Ah, so close. Alright, I think it's gonna fit, guys. Looks like it fits, so that is good news. So all we have left to do now is run it. Try to focus it up and give you a little bit of a show, make it worth the time. Go ahead and kill the lights too, because the diode's always cooler with the lights off. And I'm going to put my safety glasses on because this crap is bright. As far, I guess we can talk about settings real quick. As far as settings go, not this. The AL1 can only do up to 5,000 millimeters per second, but really we're going to be around 100. And that should give us a nice cut. We want constant power. We don't need tabs or anything else, so that should do the trick. So let's run it, I guess. Let's just try to cut our focal stick. Hopefully this works. I don't think I have any extra wood, so we'll see what happens. Let's give it a go. Oh crap, I forgot to turn on my exhaust. I'm gonna need that. Oh no, stop. Ah, I touched it. Not good. Alright, so I bumped it while I was turning the exhaust on because I forgot to turn on my exhaust. It's not ideal, but I think salvageable if we flip it over. We're just going to have to frame again here. We're just going to have to frame it back up. Alright, that was a lot easier the second time now that I have a reference point. Let's just frame one more time to make sure. Glad we're double checking here because we have some issues. And yeah, it smells nice, but you know, we're in my house, it's not the shop, so I have to be a little more careful. Stay on. Oh god, come on. Alright, one more frame. Okay, it barely fits, but we should be able to save this still. Yeah, you could do it that way, but I really need a focal stick for this laser anyway, and I'd rather have the stick. And we're nearly done now, so safety glasses back on. Exhaust is running. We're not going to touch a thing. Let's run it again. I just realized I didn't have the air assist on either. You can see it makes a big difference pushing that smoke out of the way. So I just plugged the air assist in, so we'll have a little bit of a rough edge on one part of it, but it should still be perfectly usable. Total Jimmy move. Total Jimmy move. Wow, we're really cutting it close on that edge, but we're still on the wood. And then when we're done, we'll grab a metal business card and just make sure that it's close. And if it's off, we'll know by how much, so we'll be able to adjust for it. But it will at least give us some kind of visual cue. And yeah, this table is totally getting destroyed. I need to find something to put underneath it to stop me from melting the table. I really need like a nice big sheet of metal to put underneath it, but for another time. Shout out to all 33 of you guys who are watching. If you haven't already smashed the like button, go ahead and smash the like button for impromptu solving of issues. Alright, we're coming around on the second side now. We're just about down to the bottom corner of our focal stick. The metal being shiny under there, it could potentially reflect back up through the material being cut and cause slight damage to the diode, but I'm not concerned about it. You know, that's the LaserMaster 2 Pro ships with a steel bottom plate. If you get the enclosure, it has a steel bottom plate, so they account for it. So if Ortur thinks it's okay, then I'm sure it's fine. I'm gonna need to turn on the air conditioner soon too. Hot in here. I'm gonna do that real quick. I will be right back. If that was a movie, they should definitely be using a CO2, because if they were mass producing laser cut vampire steaks, it would take a millennia to make any significant progress. Okay, let me turn that air assist off. It's so loud. We didn't set fire to the table, so that's good. And there it is. There's our focal stick. Is it ideal? No. Will it work for today? Absolutely. This will work perfectly for what we need. You can see, yeah, I'm really messing up my table there. We'll put some light on that so you guys can see it. Back your diode laser with something, because that's not That's not ideal. That's not what you want. There's so many good channels out there for learning Adobe Illustrator. I would really, any of them. Find someone whose teaching style works for you. You know, you're gonna have to watch a couple videos, but finding someone who explains things in a way you understand, I think is really important. And like I said, there's no shortage of channels on Adobe Illustrator. So that's, you know, but if you want somewhere to start, check out our episode. It's called Art Prep for Laser Engravers, or Art Prep for Engravers, something like that. If you search for it, it's like the first video that comes up. And I kind of give like a basics course on what you absolutely need to know in order to use your laser engraving machines. But that's done, so we can kind of swap things back over now and get back to our fiber laser. No PlayStation games were harmed in the making of this live stream. I'm just gonna kind of move all this crap out of the way for now, and I'll clean up later. Okay, so we can shift our attention now back to the fiber, which is good because that's what today's live stream is supposed to be about. So let's test out our new focal stick. Let's see how we did. Got just a little bit of a notch of wood up here, but I think it's mostly okay. Let's focus and let's see. So close. It's about a half turn short. So if we focus to what we want to focus on, and then we come a half turn up, it should work. So again, not ideal, but it will do for today because we're a half turn short. So let's try it. Let's just make sure it works. So I'm going to put my card down. We're going to get our focal stick under there. And we're going to focus right to the surface. And then we're going to come a half turn up. And let's see if that works for what we need to do. So back in Illustrator, let's switch back over to the EM Smart, or Illustrator, Lightburn. We'll switch back over to the EM Smart here. We're going to draw a new box, which will center up. Let's make sure that our settings haven't changed. So 580, that's good, that's what we want. Everything else looks the same. And we'll frame it and make sure we're going to actually hit our test card. Pop our safety glasses on. And we're going to hit start. And that's beautiful, that's perfect. So here it is, it's running. Let's check, let's move our focus. Weaker. Yeah, so that's really pretty good right there. That's absolutely gonna do what we needed to do for today. Yeah, a cookie sheet or a pizza pan, both really good ideas. Quarter-inch plywood, yeah, that sounds like a good idea too. Even plywood, just to absorb the blow. It sounds like an excellent idea. So this is actually a little bit better of a view than the one that we had earlier, and you can see that I've got this right under the galvo. So the center of the galvo is about here, and then, you know, a little bit lower than center there, but it's going to do the trick. So we just want to be as close to that center cross as possible, which is where we're at. And that's what we worked on before we got distracted by, you know, our focal stick situation. If we wanted to, we could pop the Allen key back in here, focus to it, actually focus to it, and make sure that we're still straight, which would probably be a good idea, because when you're out of focus, things aren't necessarily on the grid where they're going to fall when you're done. So we'll actually do that really quick. So I'm just going to pop that in, get it nice and tight. And over here in Lightburn, we can open our file. We created the file. Remember, we saved this. So we have it. And we can frame that again. And there's our straight line, comes straight across. And you can see it's actually, it's moved quite a bit. And that's because we're focused to the table. So focus matters. Focus definitely matters here. Let me see if I can switch you guys back over so you can see there. So focus certainly makes a difference. I'm going to try to get our light source back up on this side so you guys can actually see what's going on. It's not ideal. That's a little bit better. Maybe it's a little extreme, but maybe I can... No, can't really do it there. Not a great way to light this, unfortunately. This will have to do for now. See, maybe the studio lights will help. Whoa, okay. That seems to be a lot better. So, we're just going to grab our tower here and let's get focused to our Allen key. The turning on this is very slow. It is air cooled. It's got the aluminum fins on it to help keep it cool. It doesn't get that hot, but maybe that's because the air cooling is doing its job. You can certainly experiment with it. Okay, so here we are. We're focusing directly to our... I'm actually going to reposition. And I'm going to record this for the episode. This is exactly the kind of stuff that we want to record for the episode. So we're going to come in here just like this, trying to hold it in a way that looks good on camera, and then we're going to down focus. So we're right on it, and then we're going to come a half step up, so half a turn up, and now we're perfectly in focus. We can check our line straightness and make sure that we're straight, and it appears that we are. Let me see if I can get a better view of that for you. I'm going to kind of hand hold it here. I just need about 10 seconds of this. And that'll be perfect. So there we go. We've got our required B-roll for that portion of the video. Excellent. So, we've come a long way, and now we can actually start talking about rings. The first thing that we're going to do is the outside of a ring. For the video, I'll be doing this both on Lightburn and in EasyCAD. Since we already have Lightburn up, that's where we're going to start today. Though honestly, the process is very similar regardless of which one you're using. Sorry, my cat was in here. Okay, back to work. So we have some rings here. For our first Illustrator one, I'm going to use one that I don't want to use because we're probably going to mess it up. This one's thin and gold. It's going to be the most difficult to see. So I think this is the winner right here. We're doing the outside of this ring. So we're going to loosen that up. Get that out of here, and we're going to take our ring and we're going to put it right on those little teeth right there, and then we're going to expand this until it's nice and snug. And now our ring is not coming off. So that's part one done. Super easy. Part two we're going to do in Lightburn. So if we come over here to the desktop, we have our line here that we're going to be using to center things up on. And the next thing we need to do is create a box. That's going to be kind of like our target area, just so that we know the width of what we're dealing with. So we've got our box. We want to set our box to be a line. So we're going to set our box to be a line. We're going to do a different color so that we can turn the output of our center line off in a minute. And we're going to just remove the box. And we're going to frame the line again. Actually, we don't even really need to do that. We're going to paste our box back in. And we're going to center the box to the line. There we go. Nice and center. And now we just need to get this box to its position on the x-axis where it's going to be on top of the ring. The box may take some resizing, so we'll figure that out in a minute. But for now, we've got our box lit, and we're just going to move that box over until it's right on top of the ring. So you can see it's a good bit away right now, so we're just going to go ahead and start moving it. And here it is. So again, not the best view. Let me try to move the camera a little bit so you guys can see. It's really hard to get this big camera inside the EM Smart. It's such a small space. There it is. I may even be able to turn the light off here so that that's nice and easy to see. There you go. That's a good view. And the box is the size that it is for a reason. The reason we're going that big with the box is because we don't really want our split size to be larger than that box, because we'd be wrapping too far around the curve. Really like to get a better camera position going on. That's kind of a nice view right there. So, just for anybody who's just now joining us, we're actually recording the episode for the Rotary engraving guide. So while I'm kind of scatterbrained today, it will be cut and edited into a nice episode that will be much easier to follow along with and make a lot more sense. So if you're confused, don't worry. In a couple of days, we're going to have things looking better. So anyway, so we've got our box where it needs to be. It's right on that ring there. And now we need to get ready to mark. So here's our box. What we want to note here is our height, which is 4 millimeters. So we don't want to split any larger than 4 millimeters if we can avoid it. And then we'll need some text because we actually need to mark stuff. So we could do something like, I don't know, what do people get on rings? I love you. And, we'll throw a vector in there too. We'll just grab a quick vector. Really fast. So something like that, okay? Make sure it's nice and center. We're gonna rotate it. And we're gonna resize it. We want any part of this, right, should fit inside that box. That's kind of why we have it here. And that all looks like it fits. So that's great. There it is, right there. So now you can kind of see better. Any section of this is going to fit there. And now we want to center it because we want to make sure that we're starting from the middle of our ring, especially if our ring has something on it. The reason that's not working is because I didn't group it first. So let's go ahead and group these. And try that again. And that time it moved the box and not the text. So we want to select the text first, box second. There we go. So that's looking pretty good as well. So with that done, let's come into our rotary setup. So we have a chuck rotary. We're going to enable it. And we are going, so here's our split setup. It's very similar to EasyCAD's way of handling this. There's not a lot different here. So our split size of 5, great. Actually not great. So remember, we have the height of 4 millimeters in the box here that we didn't want to exceed. I like smaller split sizes anyway. 0.05 is kind of like where I like to be on that. We'll see if we actually need the overlap. I'll leave it on for now because it's default, but I don't really want to change it. Here's the next problem, steps per rotation. So if you've watched the rotary setup video, you know that the steps per rotation is normally printed on the stepper driver, and there's dip switches that allow you to select the steps per rotation, and you want to make sure that they match in software and of course on the stepper driver. We don't have a stepper driver. The EM Smart doesn't have a stepper driver in it anywhere at all. So yet again, the EM Smart is going to be causing problems for us while we're trying to deal with using the rotary. What that means is we're going to be basically blindly guessing at the steps per rotation until it works. And that sucks. But we have some test rings. We have some test rings for this reason. So we're kind of going to just guess, and we're going to guess with some common values. One common value is like, it uses like the bit multiples. So 12800 is a common value. You can divide that by 2 for 6400, divide that by 2 for 3200. These are likely correct answers. We can divide that by 2 for 1600. I doubt it's that low. Typically it's we're going to be somewhere around the 6400, maybe 9000. The values are a little weird, but we'll see. Can you use test on the bottom left to see if you get a full rotation? We certainly could do that. So we could go, let's go 6400 here. Not 64,000, 6400. Rotation axis. Are we rotating along the x-axis or are we rotating along the y-axis? Since our rotary is on the left, pointing to the right, we're rotating along the x-axis. So we're going to leave that there. And then test. I don't think I've ever pushed this button in Lightroom before. Well, it definitely did some rotating. I wouldn't call that a complete turn. So here's what we can do if we want to test. So we'll grab our circle tool, and we're just going to create the world's smallest dot. Smallest one we can manage, and we want this dot to be center in our square, and then we're going to remove everything else from this, and we are going to come into laser tools. We're going to come into rotary setup. We're going to turn the rotary off. Okay, rotary's off, and we're going to mark. And it's not doing anything because we didn't focus. So this is why we needed a focal stick, guys, because we do actually have to focus this. So you can see, well, you can't see. You can see we're quite a bit off. Let's get our light back on here too. So we're a good bit off there, so let's actually raise this up. And we're going to focus right to the ring, and then remember we're a half turn away, so we actually have to go a half turn higher. And we'll leave it there. If we frame, we can see our dot is right up here on the top. We'll go ahead and start that. And I'm just making a good dot there, so that when we do make a full rotation, we can light this again and see if we're actually making that full rotation or not. So we'll paste our stuff back in. We're going to get rid of our dot. Now again, you know, this stream is supposed to be about rings, and here we are fixing another problem. So really it's the problem fixing episode. But we need to make sure that we're getting a full rotation on this. It is important. So rather than that, let's put our dot back on there and cut that out. And we're going to go to, I have my move window, so we'll window, move. Laser tools, rotary setup. Let's turn the rotary on. 0.025, let's do 0.05, 6400. Hit OK. Apparently we can't use the move window to control the rotary in Lightburn, which is kind of a bummer. So I guess we're stuck with test. I mean, that's not even getting, it's not even getting remotely around the ring at all. It's not even coming close. So we need to bring this number way down. So let's try 3200. Whoop, nope, okay. Too much. 12800. We have to set our diameter too. Earlier in this live stream I said I'm rusty at this, and I am. So let's check out this object diameter. So we need the diameter of this ring, and then we're gonna have to do another test mark because I just took it off. But let me just get a quick measurement. 18.26 millimeters. So this should make a big difference. That's going to change our calculation quite a bit. And I'm going to pop our ring back on the opposite side so we can make a new mark. We're going to have to disable the rotary again, and we'll mark this really quick. So there we go, we've got a nice test dot now, and we'll turn our rotary back on. And let's try that test again. Now that's a heck of a lot closer right there. And I'm just slowly adjusting the value on that steps per rotation up or down. So we went from 14,000 to 18,000. That's a little bit long, so we're going to take it down to 16,000. We're very close now. 16,000 is a little short, so we'll go to 16.5. Still a little short, we'll go to 17. And that's looking really, really close. So here's a problem with Lightburn. Once we hit the test button and it starts rotating, it gets to where it's going and then immediately starts rotating back, so I can't make the second mark to even see if it's doing a full rotation or not. This needs work, Jason, if you're listening. That's not quite ready. Alright, so what are we going to do about this? Well, let's think. What do we know? We know... What do we know? We know our circumference is 57.365 millimeters, okay? It's a little mathy here, sorry in advance, but we know that our circumference is 57.365 millimeters. So let's copy that value, okay? We're gonna create a new box. We're gonna make a line, basically. All right, and the height of this line is gonna be 56.365. That's our circumference. There it is, okay? First thing we wanna do is we want to center this line up with our dot, because our dot is our center. We don't want to lose our center. Second thing we want to do is create 2 points at each end of this box. So there's 1 point, and then we're going to copy that and we're going to move up to the top, and we'll paste our second point in just like that, get it nice and center. Now if we've done this right, if we've done this correctly, these two boxes should overlap and they should both be marked. So you can see they're separated, they're equal distance from the center point there, and everything should be nice and center with itself. In fact, we can grab this one and the center dot, and we'll just align them vertically there, so that we're sure that they're all nice and vertically center. And now if I run this in rotary mode and we have our steps per rotations right, these two boxes should completely overlap over one over another. So that's what we're going to try next. So let's come into our laser tools, rotary setup. Let's look one more time. So our rotary's on, we're on chuck. Our split size is 0.05, that's fine for now. Our overlap, again, you know, we're going to have to reapproach it. I don't really like that. I don't even like it on. 17,000 steps per rotation. We know our object diameter is right. We used our circumference to generate our line with our 2 points. And we're rotating on the x-axis. So this should be a good test. So let's try this now and see what happens. I don't honestly know what's going to happen. It's not great. Didn't mark. Why aren't you marking? I could set the jog distance to the circumference. I didn't see that until just now. So Patrick is talking about, so here's our crappy test setup. If we just delete these two and we keep our center point here. So when we actually go to start and rotary is on, we do get a jog here. It's like a position jog. So we can set this to our, let's check it again. We can set that to our circumference. So we'll copy that out and paste our jog data in here. And if we mark and then do this jog and then mark again, it should be in the same spot. So, you know, we can hit start here, hopefully. Still not doing it. Okay, that's doing what it's supposed to do. So, alright, this is going to be a big pain in the butt. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to make our dots slightly larger so we can tell it apart from all the other dots that we've put on this stupid thing. We're going to turn off our rotary. So we're going to disable rotary. And we're going to mark. Okay, there it is. There's our bigger dot. You can see it right there in the middle of the screen. That's great. Now what we're going to do is we are going to turn the rotary tool back on. Laser tools, rotary setup, enable. We're going to hit start. We're going to jog by our circumference. So let's jog. It's going to spin it around. And then at this point we would come back into setup and turn it off and mark again and see if they match up. But I can just tell from looking at this that it's not going to match up now. So we're just going to go back. We're definitely not moving far enough. So let's turn this steps up here. Let's go to 17,500 and jog again till it looks close. I feel like I'm having a stroke, guys. Let's go back. If anybody ever wants to know whether or not I'm a real person that actually struggles with these machines, here's your answer. I'm no better or worse at this than any of you guys. I go through the same nonsense on a daily basis. That looks closer, but why did it change? 24,000, what would it be? 12,800. Hold on. Gotta do a little more math. So 12,800 times 2. 25,600. Alright, there's our number. Let's try that one. 25,600 might be the money. Set up. 25,600. Okay, and let's try that jog again. Come on, baby. That looks like it, guys. That I'm feeling really good about that. So, now that we've jogged and it looks like it's lined up, we're gonna come into setup. We're gonna turn off our. Oh my God, dude! Lightburn sucks. I'm really angry right now, actually, at Lightburn. I can't turn off the rotary. Are you serious? I can't turn the rotary off right now? To mark this again? It's like Lightburn's actively trying to make this more difficult for me at the moment. I hate to say it, but if we were in EasyCAD, we would have been done with this 15 minutes ago. Shit. I don't know. I'm kind of stuck now. I think we're stuck. In case I didn't show you guys. So I came into setup to turn the rotary off. so we could mark this again now that we've jogged it, and I can't do it. There's no option to turn the rotary off. Oh, boom. Okay, that was weird. I need to like write that down for a bug report. Okay, so we've rotated, we've jogged, we've rotated the length of the circumference. We're going to mark again, and it's right on top of the original one. So we figured it out. So if you guys are confused, about how we came to this number, just know that it's basically multiples of 8, okay? That's how a lot of these are set up. I didn't just guess 25/6. We got to 25/6 very specifically. So you guys know like bits, right? So if we do like 8 times 2 is 16 times 2, right? Powers of 2, 32 times 2, 64 times 2, 128, right? You guys know these numbers. At 256, okay? Notice we get to 256 on powers of 2. We can keep doing this scaled up. So if I clear this, okay, and instead of starting at 2, we start at 2000, okay? Times 2 is 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512. Okay, same thing going on there. Or if we start at 200, which is how rotaries are usually set up. So 200, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. And there it is, 25,600. So one of those numbers in that pattern is likely to be the right answer. So it's always going to be 200 times something. 200 times 2, right? And then we'll multiply by 2 again. So it could be 400, could be 800, could be 16, could be 32, could be 64. And if you're not quite making it all the way around, it's probably going to be a higher one. And if you're passing it, if you're overshooting it, it's probably going to be a lower one. Okay, so all I did was I got to the point where I was guessing, checking around 19,000, around 20,000, and it looked like I needed to go a good chunk more. So I upped it to 24,000. And then I was like, okay, well, what is the nearest power of 2 to the 24,000? And that's the 256, the 25,600. So once I knew that 24,000 was very, very close, we just did powers of 2 until we got to a number that was close to the one we knew was close. So we did 200, and then I just, I did the math in my head, but eventually you get to 256 or 25,600. Hopefully that makes sense. If you don't fully understand it, it's pretty heavy math, but hopefully you do. Hopefully I'm explaining that okay. I knew that we were really close at 24,000. 25,600 is the next step in that power of 2. So we went to that. Everything lined up perfect. That's how we got that to work. So hopefully that works for you. Hopefully that makes sense. All right. So with that out of the way, dear God, we can start marking this ring. So let's try to get, I'd love to get our I love you back. I don't think we're going to be able to do it, but I'm going to try. Just going to Control Z here and see if we can get it to show up. There we go. Beautiful. Get rid of this. We can get rid of you. We've got our stuff. We know that it's center, right? With that, again, that point along the y-axis, this direction, that point along the y-axis that is center with our rotary tool is what this is currently centered to. And with that done, we're going to come into Laser Tools, Rotary Setup. We're going to make sure we're at 25,600. Our object diameter is correct. Our split size is good. Again, I don't like this overlap, but I'm nervous about changing it. We're going to enable the rotary, and I think that's about it. We may have to invert this depending on which way our rotary is set up. We'll talk about that in a minute, but first we're just going to try it. So let's see what happens in Lightroom Rotary if I hit frame. Okay, so Lightburn rotary framing gives me a flat frame. And so the important thing to know about this flat frame is that as the red light bends around the outside of the ring, it's actually going to distort away and off the ring. So you can't go by it there, but you can go by it up at the top. So right in this top little ridge right here where we would be in focus, we can just use that to make sure that our top and bottom lines are actually along the edges of the ring. Since all of the marking is going to be taking place in this top little section, that's the only thing that actually matters right there. So, okay, great. That looks good. I feel happy with that. Rotary is enabled, blah, blah, blah. Settings are fine. I'm using 500 speed, 80 power, 37 frequency, which is kind of my aluminum general. I think these rings are steel, so aluminum general should work fine on them. It's kind of my everything setting. And we should, here's this window looks like. We should be able to mark. We should be able to start this and mark. It wasn't marking before, so we'll see if it actually marks now. So let's go ahead and give it a try. I'm going to switch you guys back over to the good camera. I'm probably going to make this a little bit bigger, just so you guys can see what's going on here. Hopefully that's a better view for you. Alright, let's see what we can do. And it's not marking. Struggling. If anybody's wondering why Lightburn for Galvo isn't out yet, welcome. So that's fine. What are we going to do? We're going to save our work. So let's file, save as. I love you. So we can reopen this. I'm going to save it. And then I noticed, this is probably something I should have done a long time ago. I'm pretty sure that we have an update for Lightburn. So I'm just going to run this update real quick. Maybe that'll fix whatever problem we're having. Okay. Sorry, Lightburn's being a pain in the butt. Downloads. Let's just run this manually here. Not really sure what's open here that's stopping me from you know what? I'm going to turn the laser off. Let's turn off the laser and try that again. Hold on. Bear with me, guys. Can we just force it to continue? Just try that. I might be messing things up really bad right now. Okay, we're back in Lightburn. Let's open our project. Let's make sure our rotary is on. Didn't save our settings. 25,600. Let's make sure that we're on the right laser. Let's turn our laser back on. We're doing all kinds of stuff right now. So 25,600, our object diameter was saved. That's good. Rotary is enabled. We're along the x-axis. Everything checks out here. Great. Open the start menu, and we can see our split size. Everything's carrying over. That looks good. So with all of that done, I guess we'll just try to run it again. So we'll pop back over to main here and hope this works. Please work. Ugh. Still not marking. Why? Why aren't you marking in rotary? Do we need a ready signal? Perhaps a different start marking signal for rotary? We're gonna have to open. We're doing some science now. We're getting into it. So let's compare real quick with our we're gonna uninstall our Lightburn drivers. Scan for hardware changes. BJJCZ opens, that's good. Open our EasyCAD folder here. It's the EM Smart. I never actually sent a shortcut of this to the desktop. That didn't really yield any answers for me. JMac wants to hop in voice chat. He wants to talk to everybody and says he may be able to offer us some advice. So let's see what JMac has to say. Oi.
One sec. I'm just getting my sound set up.
Sure. Alright, so our Lightburn driver is installed again. Let's open that back up. We'll see what JMac has to say, but in you know, what would be pretty typical of me as far as troubleshooting goes at this point would be to start changing the ports. So, you know, usually some kind of port issue in here is going to stop the laser from firing when we enter rotary mode. Unless somebody tells me something different, I'm going to assume that's kind of where the issue is going to lie. So that's where we're going to start. I don't know what this ready light does. Red dot should be fine. The start marking point port might be causing an issue. We can set that to none. Open our I love you project. Check our rotary settings. And start that. So let's see. And that did not fix it. Just in case you guys are curious, so I'm coming to the laser source settings essentially here. The start marking point is usually responsible for issues like this. There are only a few ports that it could be. That's not cutting it either. And now I'm stuck, apparently, in this rotary dialog box. Oh my god, why? Oh my god. I turned the laser off and it let me close the box, and then I turned the laser back on and it guess I'll just let it try to run the job real quick. I don't really know what else to do. You can see the slice it's processing here. Now will you let me close it? No? The whole thing's just effed? Stupid. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely do Lightburn. We're gonna do Lightburn today. We have to do it. But I really want this to work at this point. It's a battle for my dignity more than anything else. You have no layers in your project set to output. Oh, you know what the problem is? It's receiving a start marking signal from something attached to my laser. So if we turn the laser off, something's sending a signal. So start marking port's not 10. That's what's causing the issue. We'll set that back to 15. That should fix it. you know? Alright, we'll turn the laser back on. Hopefully we'll stop immediately getting start marking dialogues. Okay, great. So that fixed that problem. That's annoying because that's not where I had that when I saved this. There we go. This is just something I'm not seeing. That shouldn't matter. You know what, whatever. Let's try it. Make sure you have the correct device selected and it will show up in the correct spot for the device profile it was made with. I mean, we definitely have the correct device selected, so. Okay.
Hey Alex, you there?
Hey man, what's up?
Hey, one sec. My sound's just taking a right hissy fit. I take it you still not got it sorted now.
Still what? Basically just what I'm doing here, guys, is I'm just guessing checking these ports right now and start marking to see if I need a specific one for the rotary. Oh, and I found another one where it's getting an active signal, but it will not actually fire the laser or let me close the command window, so I have to close that now to try the next port. So we'll try port 12 next. And it's not port 12. Not 11. We tried 10. We know it's not 10, so we'll go to 9. Jason and I have a difference of opinion about whether or not split size is arbitrary. I don't agree with Jason on that. Well, whatever we did here really messed things up. I've never tried, honestly. I've never tried the rotary on EasyCAD with this rotary tool before. Why are you just infinitely busy? Nope. Well, I mean, that's fine. Jason and I have had conversations about it. I still don't agree with him. Jason's the one who wrote that guide, so. And that's why this shit doesn't work.
Try that again. Can you hear me?
Hey. Yeah, I can hear you. This port 1's the only other port that it could be. No. That's not it. So, don't think it's start marking then. Alright, you know what? Let's just go to EasyCAD. Because, I mean, maybe there's something wrong with the laser. This doesn't seem like a laser problem. This seems like a... Seems like a software issue, but... You know, why not?
Hey Alex, can you hear me?
What's up, man? Can you not hear me? Oh, sorry. Hey. No, it was me all along. It was me. I had my Discord mic muted. You can come back. It was my fault.
Okay, no.
Sorry, guys. J-Max trying to talk to me. I've got my other mic muted. All right, so we made our little dot. I'm going to light it up.
Okay.
We're going to make sure that the dot is falling somewhere.
Oh, you've gone to EasyCAD, have you? You've given up?
I mean, I'm not giving up. I just want to see what... Because Lightburn only offers, you know, however many ports, right?
Yeah.
And EasyCAD has a lot more ports than that. So I'm assuming that it's some kind of port issue that Lightburn just doesn't have support for. So like if I come into params and we start looking at the ports page here, out port for laser power, marking output, marking finish IO for in out.
Yeah.
And depending on the configuration of the EasyCAD controller board, these might cause an issue where just having access to the option here. Where's my red light mark, by the way? Which one of these is red? Oh, red output. 4. I think. Pretty sure.
Yeah, they're all different. Some are 8, some are, I think mine's 13 or something.
Also, this laser isn't even set up right, so we need to add our core file. Which is here. Alright, let's try that again. So light. That's better. I'm just going to try to reproduce what we had before.
Yeah.
The only thing I really care about at the moment is whether this will rotate and mark at the same time.
Yeah.
So laser, rotary mark, turn off force all split. Let's come into our rotary mark params, 25.6. It's good. Rotate axis, good. That all looks fine. 0.05. So we can actually see 0.025. I want to see the thing move.
Yeah.
And then we'll just mark. I mean, this is all we can really do right here. Nothing.
Off to the side doing it, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. Is it actually doing anything? Is it burning?
No.
Yeah. Going through the motion, but not burning.
Why is it moving like that?
Can you pull up your parameters for the split mark?
Yeah. We want these. Oh, wrong axis, idiot. X would probably help.
You may need to invert it as well, depends how they've wired it up.
Still nothing. It's not even firing. Not only is it not in the right spot, but it's not firing.
Mm-hmm. How about if you get it completely centered, if you pick up the rotary and move it so it's completely central under the beam, you know, under the lines above it?
Should that matter?
Not really, but I've seen it fix issues before.
Will it mark flat? Let's see if it marks flat. Of course it does.
So try turning your force all split on.
It's one of these, man. I'm telling you. It's a port issue. This screams port issue to me. But I will try it just for fun. Not that that should make a difference, but just think. You think for a minute.
Let me see. I'll just grab my settings, compare them to the. You go into split mark too.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that next.
And open up the parameters and then.
Still doing this weird thing where like, it's like instead of, so the dot is here and that is on the ring, right?
Mm-hmm.
If this is the ring and the dot is on the ring, when I mark it with rotary mark, it marks the dot here. And when I mark it with split mark, it marks the dot here.
What does it do? Pull it over to the center?
On rotary mark, it's pulling it closer to the center, certainly not in the middle. And on split mark, it's pushing it further out. I just marked the chuck, which doesn't make any sense.
What's your, if you go to file and then parameters, it's set up correctly for the lens size, is it? Minus 55, minus 55. Not some funky setting running there.
Now my red dot pointer isn't working. I should have just driven to work and gotten the stupid Mactron rotary. What are you asking me to look at?
I was just wondering, because you were saying it was moving about the workspace. Is the, you know, when you go to file and then system, is the workspace set up correct in there? Yeah.
It ought to be.
Yeah. Just checking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why won't my red light work now? This is ports, dude. I'm telling you.
Yeah. So, open up split mark.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's ports. Did you just change a port on something?
Yeah, now it's crashing.
Now it's trying to stay on. The only way to get up around that is let it crash and start again. Change the port back.
Let me just do this and get it over with. Oh, I've messed up now.
Yeah.
Might
See
have
when
to...
you click, if you hold down F3 and you click OK, but keep
Smart.
F3 held down.
Smart. Okay, not input. Output port 4. Oh my god, dude. I might have to end the stream today.
I thought 8.
I can't even switch this, it won't change. I set these two, and I can't apply the changes.
It won't let you, no?
I might have to scrap this entire copy of EasyCAD. I think I just permanently broke it. Fuck.
Is there a on-off button for the red dot pointer on the
No.
EM Smart?
Nothing. What I need to do is go digging for the original version of this folder,
Yeah.
because this is a copy of a copy that doesn't have any of the original settings set up.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna go resolve these issues, guys. We had some good educational content earlier. It wasn't what I said it was going to be in the title of the video, but we learned some things. We cut a focal stick out of desperation with the diode. We did some centering and alignment stuff, and that was good. So if you missed that, go check that out, I guess. I'm going to have to change the name of this video to Rotary Ring Engraving Disaster. Jason, fix light burn, it's broken. So yeah, you know, this puts a serious hold on any kind of progress that I was making on getting this video recorded. So it might be a couple days late. Sorry in advance. If we get these issues figured out, I'll definitely make a follow-up video where we talk about the solutions. But for now, I think the best thing for me to do for you guys is to go, just so that I can focus with the staff on getting this issue resolved, and we can kind of figure out what went wrong and what we need to do to fix it. So I'm going to let you guys go for now, but thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your patience as always. I hope you learned something today. Again, we'll follow up with solutions for the problems that we had today. In some kind of follow-up video once we get a little bit of a grapple on what's going on. But right now we're in the woods. So let me start to get on my way out of the woods. We may even do a follow-up stream later today that talks about some of the solutions. But for now, I think we're just going to go ahead and call it so that I can focus on getting this fixed. So if you were here, if you're one of the people that hung out with us today, thanks so much. Really appreciate you spending the time here with us at Laser Everything. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Hopefully it's sooner than later. Have a great day, guys.